Finger Man wants to be your friend. My name is Jack, and I served as a park ranger for the National Forest Service for over 20 years. During that time, I thought I had seen it all. Wildlife encounters, natural disasters, even the occasional odd event that defied explanation. But nothing could have prepared me for the night I encountered the Dogman. That night changed everything for me, and it's the reason I left the job I loved. It was early September of 2019, just after sunset. I was on my routine patrol in the dense woods of the Huron-Manistee National Forest. The air was cool, the forest alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures. I was checking a remote trailhead that rarely saw visitors, ensuring everything was in order before heading back to the station. As I drove my Jeep deeper into the forest, I noticed an unsettling silence. The usual symphony of crickets and owls had abruptly stopped, replaced by an oppressive, eerie quiet. I reached the trailhead, parked the Jeep, and started my inspection. My flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing nothing out of the ordinary at first. Then I heard it, a low growl, deep and resonant, vibrating through the air. I turned towards the sound, my heart pounding in my chest. The beam of my flashlight scanned the trees, and that's when I saw it. At first, it looked like a massive shadow, but as it stepped into the light, the details became horrifyingly clear. It stood on two legs, easily over 7 feet tall, with a muscular humanoid body covered in dark, matted fur. Its head was that of a wolf, with piercing yellow eyes that seemed to glow in the darkness. Long, sharp claws extended from its hands, or paws. I wasn't sure what to call them. It looked like something out of a nightmare, something that shouldn't exist. For a moment, we just stared at each other. I was frozen with fear, my mind struggling to process what I was seeing. The creature snarled, baring its teeth, and took a step towards me. I snapped out of my daze and slowly backed away, trying to keep my flashlight trained on it. The Dogman mirrored my movements, its eyes never leaving mine. I reached the Jeep, heart racing, and fumbled for the door handle. The creature let out a bone-chilling howl, a sound that seemed to pierce through to my very soul. I threw myself into the Jeep, locked the doors, and started the engine. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely get the key in the ignition. The headlights illuminated the path ahead, but in my peripheral vision, I saw the Dogman watching me, its eyes glowing in the darkness. I drove out of there faster than I've ever driven in my life, not daring to look back until I was miles away. When I finally stopped, I was trembling, drenched in sweat. I radioed in to report what I'd seen, but as I described the creature, I could hear the disbelief in the dispatcher's voice. They assured me they would investigate, but I knew they didn't believe me. That night haunted me. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, and I started dreading the thought of returning to the forest. Over the next few weeks, the terror of that encounter grew. I kept hearing that growl, seeing those glowing eyes in my nightmares. Eventually, I realized I couldn't do it anymore. The forest, once a place of peace and beauty for me, had become a place of fear and dread. I resigned from my position as a park ranger, much to the surprise of my colleagues and family. I didn't tell them the real reason. I didn't think they'd believe me, and I didn't want them to worry. But the truth is, that night changed me. I still love the outdoors, but I'll never set foot in those woods again. Whatever the Dogman is, it's out there, and I hope no one else has to encounter it the way I did. Who can be your friend? The Finger Man can.